Hey, we are
Two bald guys with a microphone. 1, 2, 3.
ish.
Ish.
We're two bald guys.
Hey, I am a bald guy undercover.
That's right. That is it. Hey, welcome in to another episode of Two
Bald
Guys
guys
with a
with a
Microphone. Big shout out to our friends over at Health Markets. Health insurance, guys, today is a piece of Swiss cheese. It covers the bread, but there's a lot of holes in it, a lot of things that people don't know. It's an ever-moving target. Health insurance, Medicare, dental, vision, life, you name it. Reach out to Kent Jones, 815-861-0294 if you have any questions or concerns or would like to know more about certain coverages. He is there to help. And our good friend over at Tom's Productions. We are live from Tom's Productions studio. Of course, Tom's Productions, you think it, he'll ink it on all of your printing and decorated apparel needs. Take a look at the hats, the tumblers, you name it. If you want to put your name on it or your logo, he can do it. He is absolutely awesome. Check him out at tomsproduction.com. That's more than one Tom. Tom's Production.
Productions.com. Multiple S's.
A lot of S's in there.
A lot of S's.
A lot of it's plural because he does more than one.
Just like S, there's 2 S's in it.
That's true. I guess that is true. That is true.
Shows about being lighthearted today.
It
right?
is. It is. And of course, this is the second part of the month and lightheartedness.
Yeah, so I got a crazy thing to throw out there. Seriousness is the enemy of freedom. Lightheartedness is the way.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Now that comes from a quote from a guy by the name of James Cars from his book Finite and Infinite Games from 1986.
Oh.
All right. So the quote, and when I read it, or when I heard it, so I heard it first, can't take credit. I got this from a good friend of mine.
Say it again. Serious as well.
Seriousness is the enemy of freedom.
Freedom. Okay.
Lightheartedness is the way. So the quote goes, seriousness is the dread of the unpredictable outcome of open possibility.
I see that because when you said you've got to close your mind off, this is it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I had to read that twice. So basically, like he goes on, or kind of to define what he's saying, the seriousness is limiting possibility to achieve a predetermined result, contrasting it with the open-minded nature of play. So through its philosophy, it means that seriousness is an anxious attachment to a rigid ending, whereas true playfulness, or lightheartedness, embraces the open-ended nature of the journey.
I love that. So when I'm getting calls that say, "Hey, Mr. Jones, you're late on your payment," I'd be like, "You sound too serious."
Lighten up.
Hey, we're just having fun, right?
Don't worry. Be happy.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's it. So, and just to go on just a little bit more with that, so there's like two different modes that he talks about in the book. So one is the finite mode, which is seriousness and dread.
Yeah.
Finite players are trained to anticipate and control every future possibility so they can secure a specific win. Seriousness stems from the dread of an unpredictable outcome because a single surprise can destroy the desired victory. Infinite mode, playfulness and surprise, or
Lightheartedness.
Infinite players understand they cannot fully predict or control the future. Playfulness means allowing for unlimited possibilities. It allows for surprise, meaning everything has consequence, but no specific outcome is required for success.
At what point did San Antonio get too serious?
Hey,
Too soon? I'm sorry.
Probably for them.
right.
Yeah, they should have had a lot more.
It's true though in the game. I mean,
Yeah. And seriously though, because you think about it, like all of these, like they kept jacking up these threes. Like that's one of the things that people are talking about.
Yeah.
Man, why do they keep shooting these threes? Like they were so serious about finishing this game, about putting the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
That only one way of doing things, a very constructive way
But
of doing
from
things.
a coaching perspective, with that kind of lead, use every 24 seconds, finish with a layup
Absolutely.
every 24 seconds, and you just ride that game out. Go back to Duke losing that the game in the NCAA, where all the kid had to do, he had less than 8 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to cross the midcourt line, but he tried to make that pass. It got intercepted. The guy hits a 30-foot three, and they lose the game.
And there was a guy right here. He could have dropped it behind his back.
Right? You know, just you get serious, and you don't have the creativity to move forward. I like that. That's a great quote. I can, you know, and I mean, we can look at applications to it. You know, how many times have you've seen a team down by maybe not 29 points, but down by 20 points, and they come back and they tie it up, and then the coach calls a timeout and says, "Okay, guys, real good. Let's go back to our set plays." You know, everything they did was failing, right? How to work out.
And then I got to apologize after the game. That was on me. Right. I mean, we last year we were winning. We were playing Joliet, and we were winning. And there's a minute and a half left. We're up by 6, 8 points or whatever, right? And Joliet calls timeout. So I'm like, hey, we don't need to score. We got to be strong with the ball, right? To which they took, let's stop playing basketball. Because that got serious, right? If we would have just kept having fun and doing what we were doing to get that lead, we would have walked out of there with we lost by 4 points.
Yeah.
You know, in the last minute and a half, it was a 10-point swing, and it was because I got serious on them, right? And it was just like, hey, here's what's coming, you know. But that's how, you know, talk about relationships, right? I'm lighthearted. And my wife was a great sense of humor, everything serious, right? That whatever we're rolling through, I'm like, hey, don't worry. Hey,
It's going to work out. We'll figure it out.
Keep on there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And that sometimes is a little friction.
Yeah.
Little friction.
When I first got the diagnosis, it's going to be a quadruple bypass. I'm waking up. I figured I probably got a couple of stents, right? The rite of passage for guys in their 60s. The doc is up there. I go, how many stents, doc? And I just come out honestly. He goes, I go, what? It's going to be a bypass. I'm like, oh, how many of those? And he goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be a quadruple bypass. And my wife, who was a retired cardiac rehab nurse, immediately clapped on my chest and started sobbing a little bit. And the doctor says, I'll give you guys a minute, then we'll come back, we'll get everything set up. And, okay. And she kind of sits up, she kind of wipes her eyes. She goes, okay, we need to get the will updated. We need to get the powers of attorney updated. I need passwords for this. And I said, no. She goes, what do you mean no? I said, I'm not going into this thinking I'm going to die. I'm going into this thinking I'm good. Now, the good news is I'm sitting here, so I was okay.
You didn't die?
I did not die.
Okay. That's a whole different show.
If I did, I would be playing with a microphone instead of our studio ghosts. But as we went through it, and we got through it, after one day after we were, everything's good, she goes, now can we update the will? She did let go of that the whole time. Right? I still not know it.
Yeah.
But,
You're not.
That's right. But, just that moment that she was so serious trying to figure out, and I was like, there's no way. I've got to focus on survival. And I remember that they're healing me in, and they're getting ready to put the mask on my face. I'm like, all right, Lord, I've got about 6 hours here. If you're not busy, why don't we have a conversation? And I don't remember anything happening during that time.
So we had to go down to Northwestern Medicine down in the city. Just had an MRI, and we had to get it looked at by somebody down there, right? Yeah. Of course, we're nervous and scared, and like, oh my gosh. And so we get there, and Northwestern Medicine, amazing facility, runs like clockwork downtown. Really, really cool. But way different than an out here type hospital, right? And
I don't say y'all down there.
No. And so the nurse is like, hey, I'm Nurse Lopez. We're going to sit you in here, room 3. Have a seat anywhere. Dr. Attar will be in shortly. Like, okay. Now, here, right? What is deep now? Dr. Attar he's Indian, right? He's from South Asia, right? You know what I'm talking about? And so, and so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this young woman walks in, right? White, and she is a nurse practitioner. She'll say, I'm so and so a nurse practitioner. And Alice is sitting where you are, and I'm like over here, and she's over there, and she's kind of going through and getting the story, doing what she's supposed to. Wonderful, wonderful doctor, right? Nurse practitioner, and she keeps staring at me. And I just sit here, and me, I'm like, I'm ready to crack a joke because I'm nervous. I'm scared, I don't know what's going on. She goes, "You look real familiar," and I'm like, I get that a lot. She goes, "No, I think we know each other." And I look at Alice and go, I think it's the first time. I'm like, well, I've got a big network, I'm on some podcast, this is the third. I said, but there's usually a bald guy who looks like me in every town. So, we go on. She's like, then there's a knock on the door. And I'm thinking, okay, here comes Dr. Attar. I'm ready for this, South Asian guy to come in and be like, here's the news. And walks through the door, probably a 28 to 33-year-old white guy with a mustache, and the look on my face was like, and a real good doctor as well, right? But out here, all my doctors, you hear Dr. Attar, so okay. So they're in there talking with us, going through the MRI with us, showing us some stuff, ding, 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 thumbs up, pop, pop, pop. And I go, okay, we're going to, Dr. Attar will be in a minute. We'll be back. So they were like, okay, right? So I literally were sitting there, and there's a knock on the door. We're like, oh, come on in. Like, we're in your room. Wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. And so in walks the nurse practitioner, followed by, the young guy with the nice mustache. Real nice. A nice mustache. And then another student, because it's a teaching hospital down there. So another student, young lady, I didn't catch her name. And then Dr. Attar comes in. Dr. Attar is probably 5'8". He's got a ponytail, a 2-day beard, blue jeans, and looks like military issued boots. White guy. And I just start laughing. And they're like, the guy looked at me. I'm sorry. I said, y'all, this panel is not what I had expected down here. And I'm like, out on the burbs, our doctors are South Asian, It's like, so, to come here, it threw me off. Especially the oncologist, the guy who's the doctor, looks like a motorcycle mechanic. Brilliant man, right? Brilliant doctor. Great stuff. But totally not what Alice and I were expecting. And I couldn't help but laugh when Dr. Attar walked in, I was just like, oh, that was way off. So, it took some of the tension out of the room, of course, right? To your point, but I was just blown away because it was the funniest thing, because I was not expecting it, right? I was just like, and my son-in-law is not South Asian; he's a doctor as well, right? But I'm like, I was just ready, and not even close to that side of the globe. It was one.
So on the good side of the story, everything's okay?
Yes, yeah. Right now, they said you don't have to worry about it, but the best thing we can do is do a biopsy and make sure that's okay.
So what did that laugh do for you guys in that moment of getting this serious news?
It relaxed everybody, I think, right? And I, June 13th, 34 years married. We're trying to catch you guys. You know, and she's probably like, I hate when he's not serious. You know what I mean? This is a serious, you know, and she's probably in there going, this idiot.
I get the warnings all the time before we walk in.
And,
Just control yourself a little bit here.
And it was so, you know, when he walked in, and I literally chuckled out loud. You know, they kind of look at me, I'm like, here's the deal. You know, I gotta try to explain why I'm laughing.
A few years before my actual cardiac stuff, we had a incident that required some other testing. The final test was a nuclear stress test done at this place by Libertyville. And the doctor said, if there's an issue, we'll call you.
What is that?
They put some stuff. They put a little diet. Anyway, so it says, if there's a problem, we'll call you within 24 hours. If it's not, your appointment is like for 10 days away. Just come in for your regular appointment. Like, okay. Next day, I get a call from April. And she says, did they call? I'm like, no, they didn't. That's good news, right? She goes, again, the cardiac rehab nurse. She goes, well, you know, go ahead and call them and see what they have to say. She asked, I'm willing to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I call. Lady answers the phone. I said, this is Tim Stewart. I was there yesterday, just wondering how the test results. Is it go, no go? Don't need all the specifics. She goes, let me check, and she lays the phone down. Next thing I hear is, oh my God, look at this.
Oh, no.
And it's another lady there. She goes, I have never seen anything like that in my life. She goes, holy crap. Picks up the phone. Can you come in tomorrow at 11:15? I'm like, hell yeah. We'll be there.
You mean they're in an hour?
So I had back on my wife, said, we need to go at 11:15 tomorrow. I don't know what it is, but they said, oh my God, anything like this, holy crap, right? And so the next day we're there half hour early and put us in a room, and the doctor's not coming in, and not coming in, and not coming in. Finally comes in, a younger doctor, and he takes my chart, and he's flipping pages. He goes, everything's good. But yesterday, she said, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. And you know, the other one, what's going on? He goes, I have no clue. Everything is fine. So on the way out, I stopped at the desk. I said, I called yesterday. Tim Stewart, you remember that? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, while you're on the phone, my cartridge exploded on the printer and there was ink everywhere. And I'm like, why did you get me in the next day? She said, well, you called me just figured you were worried. Well, if I didn't have before, I probably
Couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep for the last 24 hours. I appreciate that.
lost 3 pounds. So thanks for the help.
That's good. Oh, God. That's my heartedness right there. They probably talk about that same story still today.
Hey, this guy.
Make sure you put mute when you put the phone down.
Oh, God, that was funny. So, do you feel like people nowadays? You feel like people take themselves like way too seriously nowadays?
Oh, really? Every place we go, I mean, we've got one friend that I won't say his name, but we banned him from the radio show for any contact for a while. And I finally felt kind of bad because I'm really one of his only friends. And so I opened the channel back up, and wow, he totally despises somebody who's in a very high office in a land. We don't talk about politics, so I won't say their names, but he prefaces everything he says with by cutting that down, but it's all his fault, you know. And he's constantly looking for somebody to point the blame at for all the problems in the world. The problems in the world have been here since the world started. Stop trying to look for a place to blame and deal with it, right?
So, what if you like Lightheartedness? The Babylon Bee. Do you follow them? So the Babylon Bee is like a Saturday Night Live type of a company, right? They put memes out, whatnot. And they're like, they show the president, and they're like, new world record. President Trump has won the Iranian war 27 times this month. They do funny, it's satire, right? But if you like Lightheartedness, the Babylon Bee they're just terrific. But I had to laugh, and I had to bring that up because, well, it was funny.
So when did people when did people become so serious? Like when did people like lose their playfulness? Like, and either like answering like in a time period or like at what age do you feel like a lot of adults like lose playfulness?
Well, I think it depends, right? It might be a middle school if you have a very challenging home environment, or if you have something else, or maybe you're a single parent and you're dealing with gangs and stuff like that. And reality hits you way too young.
Just middle school.
Yeah,
because that's when elementary school's pass fail. You pretty good and you're good. You get into middle school and it's graded, right?
Yeah.
But now you're the brainiac and I'm not. Well, Jim got 100%. He got his test done in 5 minutes. There's always that guy, right? And now I've got to take it. Now I go home. I'm like, I don't know. I got a D. Stewart's smart ass over here. I got 99 out of 100. And, everybody's comparing to him now. And that's what I
missed one.
Yeah, it was your name.
I didn't know full name meant my middle initial.
Right. You know what I mean? So I think the minute we start comparing ourselves to others, that's when sports get a little bit more, intense as well. So I think we become serious about who we are. Is my hair right? They like me, you know what I mean? When we start that comparison, I think that's when life becomes when we become serious and lose a lot of that playfulness, right? Now, I mean, the good news is that's how I deal.
When you drop out of middle school, you can keep the you might have been physically present.
I almost made it to the 8th grade twice. But I think that's when the seriousness comes in and a lot of the playfulness leaves because and right after that, hey, what do you're 14, 13 years old as a freshman. They're like, what do you want to do in college? And you're like, what? I'm scared to walk the halls of high school, But if people start hey, life's hard. I think that's when the seriousness really comes in. And maybe depending on your
I remember having a conversation as a freshman. One of the stories I tell a lot as far as like when you kind of have an idea of what you want to do and early on. But I remember as freshmen, there was a group of us freshmen sitting together. We were at one of the girls' volleyball games. And we're sitting around talking about what are you going to do after you get out of high school. And it's like, we just started freshman year. Like, this is first quarter. And we're already
out.
way off in the future. So,
doctor, I want to,
Well, now, I mean, a lot of high schools, especially around us in Illinois, is you get these dual credits. So there are kids literally graduating high school with an associate's degree. So they're starting college as a junior at 18 or 17.
When I first started speaking, on doing leadership training, it was at an 8th grade level, a program called Quest right here in Johnsburg Middle School. And I remember one of the questions I always ask is, what are you going to be when you grow up? And as part of that, they said, that just for direction, because as you go, you may find out. Now, every kid wanted to be a veterinarian, a doctor, high level. Nobody wanted to be a janitor. Nobody wanted to, weld things together or work on an assembly line. Nobody had those dreams in 8th grade. But life gets in the way, and fortunately it does, because, we have people out here in all aspects of life. But I see what you're saying. At that point, that was probably something, in retrospect, probably a question I shouldn't have been asking at that point.
Hell, I'm in my mid to late 50s, been married 34 years, and Alice is like, what are you going to decide what you want to do when you grow up?
It's 51 years or 71, and I remember a when I went into the Officer Candidate School, they give you the syllabus of the whole 14 months, right? And they said now, but they got to 6 months. That 6 months there's going to be a test, and this test will define your future in the United States military. This is the most important test of your military career. We're like, oh, okay, we got to study for that test. And the next month, in 5 months, you will be taking this test that will define your entire career. And they just kept building on it. And the guys, I just watched them get, more and more jacked about this test. Finally, the day comes for the test. They give us a test booklet this thick. They give us the 8.5 by 11 sheet of little black in the circles with 6 columns on each side. And as they're sitting there, the instructor stands up and he says, now read all instructions before beginning the test. Go. You're like, all right. I go, like, there was 5 pages of instructions. I'm looking around and everybody else is answering the questions. And I'm like, scanning through it as quick as I can. The last paragraph said, do not answer any questions. Lay down your pencil and make eye contact with the instructor. I look up, he smiles at me and winks. My buddy Dave Roach on the other side is also looking around. Everybody else in the class is just scribbling, answering. And these are complex questions, too. Sure. I mean, they're like Einstein-level questions. And he looks around. He sees Roach. He sees me. We have our pencils down. At this point, he goes, stop! Heads up. Stuart, read the last paragraph of the instructions. Lay down your pencil. Do not answer any questions. Make eye contact with the instructor. It was collective, oh, shit, in the entire room. He said, now, this is why this test define the rest of your military career. The ability to follow instructions is the most important thing. Stuart Roach, go ahead and go down and have a cup of coffee. We're going to be a while. and they got smoked so bad that day. They were angry with us.
And there's 6 guys in there like, man, I had 100% going on there.
I knew those answers, man. But it's
for 6 weeks.
Right.
You get serious when life challenges you. And I see your point on middle school, but depending on your life situation, what level of seriousness? Because I'm looking at kids today, and they're my grandson, his senior year, outstanding soccer player, great athlete in all levels, summa cum laude, graduated, top of his class, had no clue what he's going to do with his life, going to college. All I want to do is play soccer. What you got to take some classes.
I don't know.
To do that.
Them guys not do too bad.
Right. So watching the other kids at this level.
Somebody said that to Tony Hawk once too. Quit riding that skateboard. You're never going to make anybody doing that.
Yeah, well,
okay.
The issue is there's only one Tony Hawk. There's,
That's right.
But that when you lose that playfulness, Josh Geyer was that goofy kid all through middle school. I yelled at that kid more than any other kid I coached. Freshman year of high school, he's walking down the hallway during football practice and he just falls down. Turns out he's got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, this is a 9th grade kid who has to deal with cancer. And I was close to him. I was close to his family. I coached all his brothers. Well, he had one brother, one sister. I coached both of them. And going through that journey by his junior year, he'd gone into remission and everything was good. And he went through a year of remission. He wasn't able to play sports anymore, turned his talents to the guitar. Kid could play the national anthem one string at a time. Just amazing. Never lost that playful attitude all the way through. And we thought, this is how he's going to overcome the cancer. Well, at 19, unfortunately, came back. He needed another bone marrow transplant. He got it. But he was told, no friends, nobody over. You've got 6 weeks of. he couldn't help himself. Called his friends. He opened the door. They snuck in. They played guitar still, all hours of the night. One of them had a cold.
Oh,
He caught a cold when his immune system was suppressed, and people that's he lived his life right up to he lived the life on his
right,
terms.
on his terms.
Yeah, he died way too young. He died at 19, and I was there. I
That's
held
not
his
very
hand
young.
when he took his last breath, and that was it's heartbreaking. But looking back at it, he lived life on his terms, and I think that's a lot of times where lightheartedness comes from, is when you can look at life and say, all right, I'm not playing your game. I'm living life my way. I mean, we've all been with athletes who, they just don't fit into the mold, but they live life their way.
Yeah, I played with a guy like that, Andre Newburn. He was a different character now.
Thanks for listening, Andre.
But he was one of those guys, man, we'd be in practice and coach is going off about something, and Dre would just say some off the wall comment, and everybody would be like, Dre, what the hell? Like, what is wrong with you? But he would break that tension for us. And I don't know if it was always intentional.
Just had no filter.
But it worked.
It worked.
The old standard speech, there is no I in team. And Chad Hederman, never forget it, that he was a sophomore and just kind of up and coming in his role. It turned out to be one of my favorite athletes ever. But he goes, yeah, but there is a win, coach.
Right.
Okay, there is an I in win, but there is no I in team.
That's it.
So we're talking about, I brought up my buddy Dre.
Yeah.
We're talking about young people. What is the difference between being immature and being lighthearted?
That's probably you'd have to ask anybody who knows me.
What you say while you're being lighthearted.
Okay. Say more.
I mean, a kid, there are those kids that just don't have those filters, and the swear words and the other stuff, and the nasty stories and other things come out. Or on the flip side, a kid who's just being lighthearted, most of the time they're more fun. They're not going off on that dark side type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the more mature child who's lighthearted does things in a fun way, or the immaturity brings up a lot of the other garbage. I mean, that's just one thought.
Yeah. Well, kind of what you're saying, but it's being able to read the room.
Yeah.
Right. Timing's everything in lightheartedness. And there's been times I tried to be lighthearted and was probably pretty immature.
Done that.
Yeah.
In very large audiences.
Yeah.
Done that.
And then there are times where, that's where you're like, oh, you want to be like Homer Simpson and go back into the bushes like, oh, crap.
We had a gig where we were co-emceeing a motorcycle event called Hogs
on Wheels.
Hogs on what was Pigs on Hogs. Wild Pigs on Hogs. Yeah. And they were police officers who rode Harley Davidson motorcycles and raised money for charity. Absolute great group of guys, but you would not take them home with you for.
Right. You wouldn't have known they were police.
You wouldn't know they were. I mean, they were rough riders, outlaws,
the
whole look, but they were incredible individuals. Yeah. And you weren't able to, but I was able to go to Rigney Field with them on the bus, and they gave me the microphone on the way down on the bus. So we're having a good time on it, just telling jokes and everything. Oh, it was. I hadn't seen that much tequila for a while, and I don't think I have since. But at one point, it started taking that turn from lightheartedness to immaturity, which alcohol has a tendency to bridge that gap.
100%.
And I just remember, sitting back and let the microphone go. These guys are cops. I'm not going to tell them no.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
Yeah. It's that whole thing, like I said, of like knowing your audience. And we've had like a number of kids like throughout the years at school that, that's one of the hardest things because their intention is to be lighthearted and fun and get people laughing. But again, like I said, some of those jokes are a little bit dark or insensitive to the audience. Like, dude, if you want to say those, like, come to my office, like, and we could talk. Tell me all the
Right.
Stupid, ignorant, offensive jokes you want to tell
All day long.
You can't do that because you have to think about the impact that it has on the people around you. And so that's like one of my most repeated lines at school is like, know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
We have some followers out of Australia. In Australia, the bald head is called
The
the nut. So we get this, we don't realize that at first. And the first communication came back from it was talking about nuts and the nut. And
Right.
we're like, what is this? And they sent us T-shirts. Remember those?
I still have
Two nuts and a microphone.
That's it. Yeah. Immature is, again, not knowing, right? So I must have been 21 and we were at a comedy club in La Crosse. And if you know La Crosse, Wisconsin, there's a corner on every bar, right? And, so we're there. We've been out for a while. A great comedian, I forget who it was, but it's a local comedian or something like that. He was funny, but he was legally blind, right?
Mm.
So, and of course, being 21, legally blind just means you're not, you can see shapes or, you know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's
right.
You,
It's totally,
you don't see a
right.
thing, right? And he's up there and he starts one joke and he's like, you ever see? And I yell out, yeah, have you? Oh, I'm mature. And of course, everybody looks over at me like, what? And of course, he roasted me from that point. You know what I mean? And I felt about that big because he was so much better than me and made me feel like a complete douche noodle.
Which is their job.
It's their job, right? But that's immature. Maturity. Not being able to read the room, and of course, I think that to your point, alcohol brings out a lot of immaturity.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
I don't know. Let's find out. The fridge is open.
Yeah, get out the whiskey.
So I not the exact same scenario, but a similar scenario. I ended up on stage with a comedian. So I don't know if you guys heard of George Wallace.
Yeah. Oh, you were up on with George Wallace?
Yeah. So
come on.
We were out in Vegas, me and my parents. And he does he'll invite people on stage and he'll do like different stuff. He gives out prizes and different stuff like the whole time. And so he happened to say, hey, come on up here. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go up on stage and he's like, all right, tell me your mama joke. And sticks the microphone in my face. Now he's notorious for your mama jokes. And I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, no, come on, give me your mama
My
joke.
mama's right there.
I said, nah, I'll let you handle that. You're the professional. Right. And he really was trying, like, come on, but I know you know one. I said, oh, I know plenty. But I'm not doing this with you. Like, no. So he ended up calling somebody else up and it was cool. But one of the coolest things he did, like his show was like, it was like really cool. One of the coolest things he did is he called this one guy up and he was just like, hey, he did whatever a little bit, and he gave him a pack of batteries. Like some AA batteries. And the guy went and sat down and he kept on with the show and like, whatever. And he was like, yeah. So does anybody in the audience have any AA batteries? And the guy was just sitting there like nothing. And so he said, I said, does anybody have some AA batteries? And the guy's still just sitting. So he had to like walk over like, I said, does anybody? So the guy finally gets up. He gave this guy a pair of diamond earrings.
Wow.
Because he's like, are you married or whatever? He's like, yeah. He said, all right, I'll trade these for those batteries. And he gave the guy a pair of diamond earrings. It was nuts. He was like super cool. He gave this one woman like $100 bill.
You could have got them diamond earrings, bro. But you want? Oh, hey, it's your.
I got a DVD.
Signed DVD. Oh,
yep.
Yeah. There you go, buddy.
It wasn't Wallace, but I was at a comedian and real heavy guys over there. He said, sir, can you come up on the stage? And he walks up on the stage and the comedian goes, get off. And the heavy guy's like, you are an ass. He doesn't even sit out. He just walks out of the.
Oh, no.
He goes, man, I didn't mean to the job. We're just having fun. Come on back. Please come back.
Yeah. Read the room.
So in that vein, like, I don't know like how much you guys follow like pop culture. I don't know a ton, but the people I know, like I see a lot of that stuff. So they had the roast of Kevin Hart.
Ooh, that'd be good.
So
it was amazing and bad all at the same time.
I didn't watch. Like I didn't watch.
See
I
it?
haven't watched.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I haven't
He
watched
deserved most of it, probably.
I had
But-
tears.
What is like? Do you feel like in comedy there should be a line, and or do you feel like people should like be aware this comedian goes to the dark side? They go to the what I would consider offensive. I'm just going to choose not to go there.
Well, I
So-
mean, there's a couple.
So the Kevin Hart roast is the closest thing to an old school roast from the roast masters that had Don Rickles and right. What a lot of people don't know about the roast is that there's writers and and everybody has to agree with the jokes that are on there. So if I'm roasting you, you kind of know what I'm coming at you with.
So unlike
Right.
Will Smith.
Yeah. And there were times, and I watch it's very, very funny. Very, very, that's why I say it's hilarious and bad and crosses a lot of lines that just doesn't happen today. But there were times where they'd be like, keep going. I'm not, you know. And when I say they didn't just step up, I mean, they leapt over the line a lot of times with a lot of different issues. But when the comedian is up there and goes, next one, I am not. Yeah, I'm not saying that one. Then you know it was really, really bad. But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you look back to Richard Pryor and some of those guys in that era, they just totally went across the line. Now you had George Carlin. George Carlin could tightrope that line,
Yeah.
but he was so brilliant, you didn't care.
Yeah, well,
It wasn't just all
Don
nasty.
Rickles was the same way. Don attacked everybody. It didn't matter who you were.
Yeah.
And he,
He was. I think it was Ronald Reagan was the sitting president.
Yeah.
And,
at the presidential
What-
ball
at the
inauguration. Yeah, at the inauguration. And
and he
yes,
kind of just tore him
it
up.
was funny. It was-
If you ever get a chance to see it, but yeah, it's. I think at some point you're right. You know what they do. Don't
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah.
Right, because there are people, especially. It's a different culture these days. The younger people in that, they don't bat an eye looking at it.
If it's a comedian, I don't think a comedian can ever. Again, you got to read the room and its timing, right? But I look at it and say, nope, they're trying to get laughs, right?
We were on a cruise ship and we went to see this comedian like at 8:00, and he had another show at 11:30 p.m. And our friends, Frank and Christina, were on the cruise with them. And we saw the comedian. I said, "Oh, you got to come back and see this guy." Two totally different sets.
Oh, I bet.
The 8:00 set was
Family
based. The 11:30 set. Oh, we had. I mean, he was way more funny at 11:30.
But the great comedians like right now, Nate Bargatze. Nate, thanks for listening. He's the number one comedian right now, and he's clean. He's always been clean, right? And he's the highest paid comedian out on the circuit. Right
Well,
now.
Tim Hawkins, if you ever watch any of his
Tim's-
stuff,
yeah,
it's, same kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
Never crosses that line. Tim Hawkins, watch him sometime. You want to get a laugh,
He's a faith-based comedian.
Okay.
but he is he does a lot of parodies, and he's incredibly talented from a singing and instrument standpoint.
Yeah.
But the stuff he does will just you'll go to watch one show, 1 5-minute skit, and 3 hours later you'll be like,
Yeah, he's good.
So what are some of the things like you feel like people need in order to be more lighthearted?
don't take yourself too seriously.
Okay. Well, and what does that mean?
Well, because a lot of times we get in a place where we have to be the one, we have to, fix everything. We have to, especially parents, we have to make sure everything is done for everybody. Don't take yourself, you don't have all the answers,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes your answers are right. Don't take yourself too seriously.
We're here for a short time. Might as well make it a good time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
we've all seen the stories. A 40-year-old guy eats bird seed and runs 10 miles a day and dies of a heart attack on his 10-mile run.
Jim
Granny Jones lives in a one-room house, rolls her own cigars and brews her own
14
whiskey.
cats.
Yeah, eats horrible and smokes her own cigars every day and lives to be 110.
Yeah.
Figure that out,
never,
right?
Yeah. You never know.
So what I always say is, my whole philosophy is, you can't take yourself too seriously. I mean, life is short, and there are studies, right? If we wanted to get into scientific studies on, if somebody gets the C word, their attitude is a huge lever to if they get better or not.
Well, that's the whole thing. If we can have the chance to bring Julie Ostro on, she's a laughologist. She's done all that research on the power of laughter in the workplace.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I work for myself. Is I probably crossed way too many HR lines. I'm fortunate I haven't.
Well, I mean, for the audience, what do you think is a way that you can not take yourself more serious, or a way you can be more lighthearted throughout the course of your day?
Well, I think for me, it's garbage in, garbage out. It's positive in, positive out. It's funny in, funny out. We are bombarded in today's world with we don't know what's real anymore. It's all clickbait. Your algorithms are designed to make you mad. Everything in life is to take away that joy. And what we keep forgetting is what we learned back in kindergarten, right? Is whatever you put in is what you're going to get out.
Right.
And so if you put in positive, if you put in funny, if you put in lightheartedness, doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a comedian. It's going to mean that you can handle things. Right?
So if my wife is constantly watching murder mysteries, I should be more aware of.
Yeah. Or how to's, yeah.
Especially if it's a how-to.
That's not entertainment. That's an educational program.
Honey, get off my oxygen tube. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think people just take the time with themselves and just learn to laugh. At yourself. Because like you said, we're only here for a finite amount of time, and what are you going to do with it? What's more fun, sitting around being bitter and frustrated all the time, or being able to laugh and have a good time and bring joy and light to other people?
A good friend of the show, Matt Berfato, has written a couple books, and he talks about COD, your checkout date. Nobody knows your checkout date, right? So why be so serious?
Not at Walmart.
So somebody asked me, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, my eyes opened up. Somebody's didn't, so it's a good day." Yeah. You know what I mean? And they go, "Oh, well, that's interesting." I'm like, "It's the truth,"
100%.
And I'm blessed because of it. Nothing's guaranteed.
And you're blessed because I'm still here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
And so it's important to understand that. If I got to go through life, I might as well have fun doing it. I might, and I don't mean like, Evel Knievel fun, jumping over buses and Grand Canyons. I mean, you might as well be able to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and go, "It was a good day," or "I was really stupid today."
Right.
At 67, I had two other friends my same age, Steve Clements, Steve Wilson. No, I'm sorry, Marshall, Steve Marshall, and myself. All very similar. All seemed to be in fairly good health. Steve Clements was feeling tired at work. He laid on the floor for a second, never woke up. Steve Marshall was on an exercise bike at the fitness center, and just like Marty on Laugh-In, boom. And I went in for an eye appointment.
Yeah.
And found out I had the same situation those two were in, but fortunately, for some reason, an eye doctor found something that sent me in, started the whole process. I was a statistic waiting to happen, just like they were. But Is it, well, God's not done with you yet? Is it, my checkout date didn't come?
Right.
Why am I still here? And,
Yeah, the thing to realize is that the sun doesn't rise and set based on you.
That's right.
The earth
It's so
doesn't
true.
spin because of you. Like it's going to continue to spin after we die. Sunset, sunrise is going to continue to happen after we die. So, like, why take yourself so serious?
Yeah, when my daughters are getting upset or my son would get upset with me, I'd sit there and go, just a minute. No, Earth's still spinning. And go to the mountains. You've been everywhere. You realize how small and infinite you are. You go to you're on a 40,000 foot mountain or whatever.
We go to Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah,
you're 12,000 feet up. You take 8 steps and you're like, okay, I'm good.
yeah.
You realize that,
I mean that's how small you are, right? And
how many we're up to 8 billion people on the planet.
There's a lot of folks in line, right? I mean,
even if you're impacting, the
3 million that watch our show.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I can't pick out an individual, right? Until this episode's over, that was so serious that made a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always the serious people. You're like, relax. Cool out there, Bob. What's going on? Everything's going to be fine. It'll work out, right? But I mean, you take a look at like Steve Jobs, right? And he was very lighthearted. He was a driver, right? And in business, he was stern. But here's a guy who's like, I don't know, I'm going to wear blue jeans and a black turtleneck.
It's like those guys, the people, some of the folks that I work with, like they're so serious, like every day and every situation is like the end of the world. It's like, guys, he did the same thing yesterday, the day before, and he did the same thing on Monday, and he's going to do it tomorrow. Like, just relax. Like, it's just chill out.
Having been a coach in the school system for so long and not being a teacher, the teachers who are there all day long take the world way too seriously. Johnny threw a spitball in 4th hour. You need to have him do 17 laps tonight.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
Right.
I want him shooting layups.
Right.
And that is a lot of, or some of the, pushback or whatnot. I don't want to say pushback, but I'm going to use that word that like we get, like my team, because like you guys don't understand, you're not in the classroom with them all day. You're right. And you still don't have to react and like, he's going to do this.
Right.
Like, he's going to behave like this
every day.
She's going to, do this crazy thing. Like, it. So just, it happened. Okay. I'm not saying it's ideal.
No.
But it's going to happen. So like getting all pissed off, and because every day you're coming in with, and that's the other part, right? You keep showing up. So
Right.
But just, why show up to work every day, all tense, and kids are going to do what they're going to do. You respond in the necessary way, help try to point them in the right direction.
Yes.
I think lightheartedness can be a pattern redirect, though.
Yeah, 100%. I use it so much. Like when I get called to certain students or certain situations, I use it all the time. They're all pissed off or whatever, and I'll just say the wildest, like stupidest thing sometimes, and they just start laughing, and next thing you know, that all the tension's left, and it's like, okay, but now tell me what's going on, what's got you pissed off? Oh well, but before that, it was like I was all kinds of B's, and
one of my athletes gets hurt specifically on the soccer field, right? You can tell right away if it's a real injury or if they're just doing, I saw Neymar do this, I'm going to do it, right? And they go down, they're hurt. I'm the first one out there, and I'm not walking out, I'm running out there. And I get down on the ground right next to them, especially for if it's the female athletes, I get right down there, and I'll look at them, and they're like, and I'll say, quick question. Yeah. Am I still the best looking guy in the stadium?
That's weird.
But it stops them in their tracks.
Yeah.
And now I can say, what's happening, how does it feel? But first you got to diffuse and you know, lighthearted, saying something just off the wall. You know, your foot's pointing the other direction. Doesn't help.
Yeah.
I see. I'm the opposite. That woman goes down. I look at her. I'm like, she's gonna be fine. And then the trainer will run out or whatever, and then I'll walk out there and I'll be like, hey, slow your heart rate down. You're going crazy here. Did you hear anything pop or whatever? You know, and you can tell by the screams.
Yeah.
Right.
You can tell. I've been around the sport for a long time. You can tell by the screams when it's a real one, right? And then you're like, oh crap, hey, you know.
Right.
Look up at the parent like, you gonna want to come here, you know.
I had one of my guys got hurt, pretty good ankle, and you know, I get out there and I no sooner get down, I look and I see a lady's shoes, and I look up and his mom came right out on the field during the game. I mean, he's injured, and I'm trying to assess the injury, and she's out there, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm afraid you can't be here right now. I'll take care of him, but you know, I need you to go out. And Nikolai's walking out, my trainer, and he's walking out. He just shakes his head. Never seen it delay.
2 years ago, we're in a tournament down in Peoria. It's a holiday tournament. We have media timeouts because it's streamed, the whole works. We got media timeouts. Media timeouts happen in the quarter at the 5-minute mark or the first dead ball after 5 minutes, right? And one of my captains, she has like sports induced asthma, but it's not. It's her vocal cords kind of swell up as she's intense and makes it hard for her to breathe, right? And she's running up down the court. She's pulling on her jersey because I'm like, you get tired of pulling on your jersey, we'll get you out. And the game's got a nice flow to it. And I look at her, I look up at the clock, and the clock is like 5:57. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste the timeout. If I call timeout now, they use that as the media, but I lose a timeout. But if I wait till the dead ball, right? So I go get her, right? And now the client, she's like, you know, and I'm like, don't die. Please don't. This is what I'm saying in my head. I'm like, look, just don't die. Right. And I've told my ladies, I'm like, listen, if you are gassed or, you know, and there's a flow, just fall on the floor and stay there. The refs have to call that, you know, they got to bring it to a dead. Right. And she had forgotten about this because she's like, and I know I'm looking up at the stand at her mom's looking at her, and I'm like, come on, get a dead ball. Just fall down on the floor, you know. And you know, it gets down to that under 5 minutes, and the ball goes out of bounds, dead ball. And she come over, she got to breathe. I'm got her. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I said, thanks for not dying. She's like, what? I'm like, can somebody get her some water or inhaler? I go, I didn't want to burn a timeout, but I didn't want you to die either. They're looking at me like, you're insane. I go, I know.
So our daughter had never been diagnosed to this point with exercise-induced asthma. She's a sophomore. I'm on the bench. There's about 2 minutes left in the half. She runs by and she goes, I can't breathe. I said, well, just slow down. It's a couple minutes. Slow down. You'll be fine. Well, the ball gets stolen and she sprints after it. You know? And then she comes out and she goes, I can't breathe. I said, slow down. You'll be fine. Well, at this point, my wife, who's like 4 rows behind us, runs down the steps, onto the floor, runs past our daughter to the referee and calls timeout. She goes, timeout. Can't you see she can't breathe? And I can't think of his name right now, but the head coach looks at me and I'm like,
did not plan this.
This is not, but right past her daughter. I mean, if you're worried about her, no, timeout.
Yeah.
And the referee's like, can fans call a timeout?
What is going on, right?
Oh, this
yes, it's a redhead.
different set of rules.
That's right. That's right. But I mean, you know, but no, I couldn't have, you know, if I wasn't lighthearted, I wouldn't have said anything to her. Like, get on the bench, get your inhaler, get back in. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I went over, I ran to her, I got her over it, and I'm like, thank you for not dying. And then, we talked about it at dinner that night, and I'm like, I felt so bad. And I was just like, I'm talking to God, like, please don't let Michaela die. We got to get to that 5-minute mark, Lord. Like,
Priorities.
I am like, I'm like, that whole night, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm the biggest idiot. I should have called the timeout. I saw you were struggling, and I'm just like, oh, and still today she'll come over to the house. She's going on to play at Augustana, which is awesome, and she's learned to play really, really good with her condition. And it's just funny now because we'll joke, we'll laugh about it now. I'm like, well, that's because you didn't die. That's why we laughing about it.
You'll be on your deathbed visiting you.
Yeah.
Like, how's it feel now?
Yeah. Hey, wait for the dead ball. Wait for the dead ball.
That's funny.
But again, if I was serious, I would have been like, you got to learn, you got to get the dot, I would have been
I told you to get on the floor.
Right. You got to do more wind sprints, get better lungs,
Yeah.
But,
Clutch your chest and fall down.
And so then, and we talked about it that night too. I'm like, hey, if you tweak something or it's just go down. The refs have to stop. They'll let the play finish, but then they got, if they don't have a fast break, then they're going to whistle because you're laying down over here.
Right.
I said, then I don't have to call a timeout.
So who's sponsoring this mess?
Yeah, so our good friends at Health Markets, Health Markets Insurance Agency, Health, Medicare, Dental, Vision, Life. If you've got a small business, we are one of your best partners. We can work with you, and we've got great group things and plans that'll make you look like the all-star. Without it affecting your bottom line, which is great. And of course, our friends over at Tom's Productions. You think it, he will ink it on all your printing and decorated apparel needs. He does a lot of work with a lot of the local high schools, a lot of local businesses. If you have a logo, your name, anything you want to put on it. If you have a joke that you want to keep everybody lighthearted, you've seen those
Put it on a
pens.
shirt.
I stole this pen from, right?
Right.
He can do all that good stuff. If you want Coach's face on a shirt, he can put it on a shirt for you. That's being pretty lighthearted. So,
I got 8 of them.
Yeah. Tom's Productions. Check him out at tomsproductions.com. And we're live from his studio right here. So, well, we were when we recorded this. But thanks for tuning in.
Definitely thanks for tuning in. So takeaways from today's show.
Why don't you start?
Let it go.
Yeah.
Right. Probably my favorite song and movie of all time. Let it go.
Yeah.
Because we hold on to too much stuff too long. Just let it go and move on. Take yourself a little less seriously and learn to laugh.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Rancher Ron used to say, I did not plan that. That's the name of his book. I did not plan that. If you understand that if you can remain lighthearted with the things you can't control, then life is so much easier, right? And the things you can't control, stay lighthearted with those as well. I mean, life is way too short to be too serious. And you'll see your energy spike, the people around you spike, the flowers will be prettier, the pizza will smell better. You just got to understand that if you're lighthearted, a lot of things will roll off your back like a duck in water.
Amen.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, like that's one way that you can really improve like relationships that you have with other people and just relieving some of the tensions that you might have. Because when you get so serious, you get so tense, like it releases all the cortisol in your body.
Yep.
But if you can learn to be lighthearted, you can release a lot of that tension, release the cortisol, and you'll be happier, lighter, and free.
I am going to go do something right after the show today that you two can't relate with. I'm going to go get a haircut.
Well, that's okay. I've been getting my haircut by the same guy for the last 27 years. July has some good shows coming up. I'm just trying to see what the hook is here. for July. So give me a minute.
1001, 1002.
Oh, that's a longer. There it is. Resilience. Talking about resilience. That'll be a good one.
Resilience.
Yeah.
Resilience.
Resilience. That is. So yeah, July is all about resilience. If you've got good stories about resilience, let us know. Put it in the comments. And if you want to be a guest on the show, let us know. Put it in the comments. We'll send you a link. We'll get you on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So with that being said, we are two bald guys at a microphone. My name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. Now it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the big game.
Easy for him to say.
God bless. Travel safe.
Living it loud. Two bald guys, we're making you proud. Breaking down barriers, united we fight. In this crazy world, we bring the light. Two bald guys and a microphone, chasing dreams, we made it all.